Okay, it's Dr. Shankapotomus here with son-of-Shankapotomus. Say hi. Hey. They can't see you. You can't see you. You don't. There you go. We're going to be putting some, working on the 2009 Honda Odyssey. We're going to be putting in new spark plugs. All right. There you go. The laser iridium NGKs. There you go. Get one of these bad boys out for you. Right like that. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. I'm going to show you guys how we do it. And then hopefully you can do it yourself. Alright, so the first thing you do is get the engine cover off. It's got a couple of screws that just turn like about a quarter turn. And they'll come undone. There you go. On the other side. Alright, and then it'll lift right off. Okay, so the first two, the screws in the front, they come up, you can lift it off. And then when you get to the back, it's got some rubber nipples that are stuck into there, locked into there. You just lift up, maybe take a little firm tug, and off it comes. Alright. Alright, so now with the engine cover off, you can see the intake manifold. And if you come up here to the front, you can see your ignition coils here, here, and here for the front three cylinders, and those come off. There's a small screw on each one of those that son-of-Shankapotomus can point to, right there on the middle one. There we go, right there. You get that screw off, and then the electrical connector to it that we can point to, there you go, has to come off as well. Then you slide out the coil, and then you can get to the spark plug. Now for the back six, it's a little more difficult, it's a little more tricky, but not impossible. They're back around behind, right here. You can feel them back here, all three. So you actually have to reach over a little bit blind, get to them, disconnect them, take them out one at a time. They're just like the ones here in the front with the screws and the electrical connection, but it's a little bit trickier because you just can't quite see them completely. But they're easy enough to get out. Okay, so when you get a hold of the electrical connector, it's got a little release on it. You push down on the release, and the end will pop up, you get a hold of it, and then you can pull it right off. Okay, and here it is once it's off. There's the connection. There's it's off, where it's off. There's this little place here where you're going to push to release it. Also, you'll want to put some dielectric grease into here to keep water and everything out of them. Once we put them back together, that's what we'll do. Now we'll go ahead and get this screw off so we can take out the ignition coil. So you can hold it with a 10mm socket there. Let me get son-of-Shankapotomus' hands out of the way. Let's get a hold of it. And it will eventually come off. Watch your hand there. Okay, and once you get it loose, there you have it. And then we will pull out just like that. It pops right out, comes back. Now it's important that you check these for fresh oil on them. How's that one look? Let's get a look at it there. Get in front of the camera. There we go. Nice and clean, dry. That's what you want to see. Okay, so now we're going to get the spark plugs out. Good idea to get a spark plug socket. See the rubber inside there? That way it'll hold the plug inside. Once it comes off, you don't drop the plug back down in there. And then on our socket set, it's also good to get a socket with a lock on the end of it. Let me see. There we go. See this lock? That prevents your socket from coming off. And then you lose your socket and your spark plug. So we're going to go in with that right through our hole here, and we'll get the plug back out. So a little trick to getting into or getting your spark plug out is to back your socket underneath, then you can get it onto the plug, and then once you're locked on the plug, you can connect up your ratchet and take your plug out. Okay, so there's our plug. It's kind of worn there at the top, but it's still it's good and dry. It's not soaked with oil or anything like that. Not markedly charred, but definitely time to change them out. And we'll get these other ones into there. Okay, so you want to put a light coating of anti-seize. Let's see what we got here. There's what we're using. Okay, just onto the threads. Come on over there a little bit. There we go. Just right around the threads. All the way around. Excellent. That's how we do it. Okay. So once you have your anti-seize on there, you can slide them out and in. Right like this here. Open here now. And then you want to push it down through there very carefully until you contact the base there. And then you want to hand tighten it. You don't want to put a wrench to it yet. You want to hand tighten it all the way down. If it gives you any resistance at all, you want to back off, because if you strip the threads where your spark plug goes into the cylinder head, you're screwed. You're going to have a whole new cylinder head put on. So just hand tighten it all the way down, and then we torque it down to 18 Newton meters. Alrighty? Okay, so once the torque wrench is on, then you just torque it on over until we hit 18 Newton meters. There you go. The little click. That's it. And then you remove the torque wrench, just like we did before. You can feed it back out through there by hand to get it out far enough. Alright. And then when you put the ignition coil in, you slip the ignition coil back in. And the little nut on the ignition coil that tightens it down goes down to 10 Newton meters. So you get it all the way down snug. And then we'll put on our dielectric grease. Sorry for the camera motion. Hang on one second. Dielectric grease. Hang on. There we go. Now we got it just a small amount there on the end. And that'll do it. That'll help to seal it up. Let me show you what we're using. This is dielectric grease. Recommend it everywhere you're doing electrical connections. It keeps water and dirt and things from getting into your electrical connections and making a mess of them. Okay, so the rear bank is just like the forward bank, except it's kind of hidden. You can see this little reflection right back here. That's where I've put the ratchet in, or the socket in actually. See, there it is right there. Okay, let me get a hold of this for you. And it's right on top of the first to the left over there spark plug. And then I'll put a ratchet on top of it and screw it out. You'll have to go by feel back there. It's exactly like the front. It snaps off just like the front. The coils are just like the front. Screw the nut there that holds them down. But you just have to work by feel a little bit on the back. But you can get into it. You can see you can get into it pretty easily, and then take the spark plugs out. So some of the back ones can be pretty hard to get a hold of. Here's the thing that we finagled a little bit to be able to get back there. Had to do a few pieces to get in, especially the back far right one. Driver's side is probably the hardest one to get out. But we managed to get him out. He actually looks pretty darn nasty. So we'll put the new one in now. Alright, so here we are getting the last one tightened down on the back side. You can see, like the first one I showed you, how it just sticks up there just a little bit. And then we're going to slap the torque wrench onto it. Okay. There we go. Move your right hand a little bit if you can. There we go. And you can see where we're working. Can't get by that. So we'll put a little extension on it so we can get by that, but you can see how it works. Now you got to improvise. See the torque wrench is getting stuck on the electronics there. We'll put a little extension on it and we'll be golden. Well, that's it. That's the last spark plug. Thank you all for watching.